we can't show that. People are going to think you beat me.
Only at poker.
I had an off week this week.
I don't know what to tell you. If you lost, then you lost.
Details.
Have we got a deal for you? Have you ever wanted to explore the East Coast? Well, come to the Wandering RV Babe Emporium of destinations to see all the best things that you could find on the East Coast.
We have an emporium now? What the hell is that? Welcome to the Wandering RV Show, your source for our stories,
Our screw-ups.
and our successes living the full-time RV life. I'm your host, Kara, the Wandering RV Babe, and this is my driver, Ryan.
Howdy!
Oh, jeez. That's excessive.
I
That's
beat
an
her at poker.
excessive howdy. He did. Just this week. Just this week. Not next week. It's not going to happen. Redemption week is coming. But we talked about our year last year, and it was nuts. Tornado, hurricane, back surgery, crazy repairs on the RV. If you want to hear the full story, we'll have that linked somewhere. But that was in the previous episode.
Yeah.
This episode, we're talking about all of our travel plans that we had earlier in the year. It wasn't all bad. We hit a bunch of really cool places along the East Coast. Some must-see destinations, and we're going to tell you about them right now. But first, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode.
It's like magic. Then you get more of me. And unfortunately more of her too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help you in all places.
You gotta take the good with the bad. It's part of it. First up, last year, we went to the solar eclipse, which was in April, and we wanted to be right on the line of totality. So, one of the spots...
Totality?
Totality.
Wow, that's 6th grade education.
I know, that vocabulary is working really well today.
You're on point.
I know. But one of those areas of totality was in Seymour, Indiana. And yes, I know that's not on the East Coast. We're going to get to the East Coast destinations because that's where we spent the majority of the year. But first, the eclipse. It was fantastic. We hit Seymour, Indiana, and we stayed at the Weary Traveler, which was actually a really cool RV park.
Yeah, and it's a brand new park. They're just kind of getting set up and going, but it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and it was great for that kind of event. If you want to see the stars and not have any trees in your way, that's where you go. Exactly.
Right off the highway. So it's not, kind of that rustic out in the middle of nowhere, but it's a perfect overnight stop for RVs. And in our case, we happen to have kind of an end spot. So we had this huge open grass field with no obstructions to the sky to be able to see that eclipse firsthand. It was amazing.
Would you say it's a good place for a weary traveler to stop off at?
Possibly. That could be that could be a good name for an RV park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, someplace that, if you're just traveling down the road and you're feeling kind of weary, yeah, I could get behind that.
Yeah. Anywho, from there, we stopped off in Kentucky, as you do, and we picked up some provisions, some apple juice.
Yes. When going to Kentucky, they have the best apple juice on the market.
But then from there is our first East Coast stop that you can't miss. If you're on the East Coast, you have to stop there. It's a must-see destination. We're going to say it. Washington, D.C.
I didn't know you were going to say it. There's a lot of things on the East Coast. Washington, D.C. was not actually number one on my list.
It was number one on my list.
I mean, I wanted to go, don't get me wrong. But I was thinking like Gettysburg or Mount Vernon.
Yeah, we went there too.
Or, I don't know, lobster in Maine.
Yeah, we went to all those places. The cat's right out of the bag. You just kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Spoiler alert.
But no, Washington, D.C. was amazing. We actually took our bikes and we rode our bikes all through D.C., which was incredible. We got to see all the monuments. They were actually doing some construction on Lincoln, and it was very, very busy while we were there. So I definitely want to go back and see the Lincoln Monument when they get it done, or the Lincoln Memorial. Sorry, Lincoln Memorial when they get it done.
They are making it more ADA accessible. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
It really was. And they were doing some restoration and things like that. So all good things, but it was a little bit of a construction zone when we went. So definitely looking forward to going back to go see it. The other thing that we did not get to see was the Washington Monument.
Listen, everybody who was building monuments back in the day had one particular thing on their mind. Anyways.
It's true.
So funny enough, our first day into Washington, D.C., because we weren't actually staying in Washington, D.C., because there's not really any... there's one RV park.
There might be an RV park. We didn't stay there. We stayed
we
a
stayed
little
in
bit
Maryland.
away.
Yeah. And so the first day we go into Washington, D.C. is when I hurt my back.
It was bad.
The second day we went into Washington, D.C., it was too hot to go up in the Washington Monument.
Yeah, they closed it down. Apparently there's no AC up there. Doesn't, not surprising. But
I mean,
it was
when was that thing
hot.
built? I mean, come on. They couldn't have put AC in when they put that thing in?
I'm pretty sure they did not have AC when that thing was built. No.
They probably had swamp coolers back then.
Well, yeah, but when you're trying to fit, I don't know how many people that they try to fit in that elevator that goes up there every single time, then, I don't know how well a swamp cooler is going to do.
I mean, from what I saw in Spider-Man No Way Home, the elevator, is not very sturdy.
Because Hollywood is where you go for all of your information. If you see it in a movie, it must be true.
Well, that's why we wanted to go there, so I would have known if it was true or not. Listen, I go to places because I saw them in movies.
Okay. The last place we didn't go to was the Space and something museum, part of the Smithsonian Museum complex.
The one I wanted to go to the most.
I know, I'm sorry. It was so big. We went to most of the others. There's 7 or 8 different museums. It's crazy. The Smithsonian is not just the Smithsonian Museum. It's
the Smithsonian's.
Exactly. But we went to a lot of them. They were really, really cool. What was your favorite one that we went to?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Was that the natural history? I think that was a natural history museum. That was badass.
Although, the one with the iPod was pretty cool, too.
Oh. Yeah, that one was pretty cool. It made me feel really, really old, though, because they had the iPod as its own standalone exhibit.
Vintage.
And they had a picture of people using iPods for the very first time. It looked like an Apple advertisement or something. The picture was in black and white. Come on, people. We had color back then. We did not have black and white. They just did us dirty in that whole exhibit, making it older than it is.
We were in high school when the iPod came out. We're not that old.
I'm pretty sure we still have an iPod that still works.
If you still have an iPod, let us know.
But the D.C. area in general is just amazing. We went to the National Harbor in Maine. We went to the National Harbor in Maryland.
Which National Harbor were you at?
I was at the National Harbor in Maryland, and the Air Force, the Navy, and I believe it was the Marines did kind of this rotation every weekend during the summer where they would put on a free concert for everybody, and it was really, really cool. Yeah,
that was awesome.
It was really cool.
But of course we had to go to Mount Vernon, because why would you go to the Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland area and not go to Mount Vernon and walk around the plantation?
It was actually really cool.
Really
I have
cool.
to say, George Washington is certainly most famous for the Revolutionary War, and then, of course, being our first U.S. president. But the man...
Really? Is that what he's famous for?
Yeah. Didn't you know that? I mean, come on, babe. We toured D.C., we toured Mount Vernon. You should
I don't know
this
that
by now.
that came up, honestly.
Really?
I feel like his work in the French Indian War was far more important.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, he was actually a really, really ingenious, enterprising businessman. And he had a distillery that was still active and still working. He had, obviously, a plantation. He had all kinds of things going on that was really, really cool. And we actually got to go in and tour his home, where he and Martha were, and see, his deathbed, where he passed away.
That's really kind of morbid.
That is kind of morbid. We also went and saw... Lincoln's deathbed and Ford Theater, and that was a morbid tour right there.
There's a lot of morbidity.
Morbidity.
My 6th grade education is not helping me.
No, words are hard right now.
Yeah. And
maybe some of your apple juice that you're drinking.
Maybe the apple juice will help.
Maybe it will.
When I was a kid, my mom always told me to drink your apple juice. Cheers.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple juice a day keeps
somebody away.
But we also did get to go to the tavern where George Washington had his birthday at, and they had a whole meal that was like his favorite meal. It was very, very tasty.
Did we go there on our anniversary?
We did go there on our anniversary. Yeah,
we celebrated our anniversary at Washington's birthday dinner place.
Yes, we had Washington's birthday dinner for our anniversary.
It was very flavorful.
It was very tasty.
We had a bottle of wine, and
it was very cozy and intimate, and they had like candlelight going.
It wasn't real candles.
No, it wasn't.
It's all been updated,
Yeah, fire codes and all. But it was really cool. And it's in the middle of Arlington, Virginia, which was beautiful. There's all kinds of really good places to eat over there as well. And it's right on the river. It's beautiful.
And then we went on a bed and breakfast ghost tour in Gettysburg.
That was badass. So we took a little bit of a break from the camper, and we turned off the water for the weekend.
Always turn off the water when you go to leave your camper. Maybe not every single day. There's some people who do it every single day, and I get it and I understand. There's a reason for that, and I know why they're doing it.
It's good advice.
It's good advice. But for us, we leave it running because we're usually here, and when we're not here, we're not gone for very long. Do you turn the water off when you go to bed at night? No, of course not. You're in bed for 8 hours, so if you're gone for 8 hours, it's about the same thing. But we turn the water off. I think we might have even turned the electricity. No, I don't think we turned the electricity off.
No, we didn't turn the electricity.
Just turned the ACs up so they weren't like running all the time.
Exactly. But we left. We went to a lovely bed and breakfast. It was the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast in Gettysburg.
Dog friendly?
Yes, dog friendly. In fact, Dodger was the only pup that entire weekend. They loved her. All of the guests loved her.
Who doesn't love Dodger, though?
Exactly. And all of the bed and breakfast staff really, really loved her. And we found out after we got back, the bed and breakfast was actually haunted. Who knew?
We watched an episode of Ghost Hunters, and they were literally at the bed and breakfast, and they saw a ghost.
They did. On the grounds.
It was on the grounds, yeah. It wasn't in the place, and it was actually only like on the thermal imaging camera.
So who knows? If you believe in that stuff, then that's kind of cool. And if you don't, then you don't. We never actually had a real experience with a ghost while we were there, but it sure was cool. And it's a really cool way to learn about history. So anytime we go to, especially a historical place that we're, a city, New Orleans ghost tour is really awesome. Just go. Whether you believe in it or not, it's a really fun way to learn about the history of that particular location.
Yeah, ghost tours are really a fun way to just experience a city. Like, you don't have to believe whatsoever. It's still fun.
I believe.
Tinkerbell's flapping her wings right now.
And then...
Scranton, the electric city. Scranton is the electric city. Scranton.
Yeah, we went to the home of The Office, and it was great. We went to the train depot. I don't remember what it's called.
The train museum of some kind.
The train museum. It was actually really, really cool.
It was very awesome.
It was very awesome. We got to ride on an actual steam locomotive and go tour the steam locomotives and then find out all kinds of history about it, which was super awesome.
The reason that we went to Scranton is because we were trying to meet up. The camera is focusing on her, and she's like purposely trying to make sure that it focuses on her, so I'm out of focus. So here we go. I'm going to come right in here. Okay, guys. So the reason that we went to Scranton is because we were looking for somewhere to get together with family for the 4th of July that wasn't going to be busy. Let me tell you guys, it doesn't matter where you're at an RV park, 4th of July, always busy.
True story. But the place that we stayed at in Scranton was actually really cool. I don't remember the name of it.
Why did you not do this in advance?
I know, hang on.
Keene Lake Campground, I'm pretty sure.
That was it, Keene Lake Campground. So K-E-E-N Lake Campground was awesome. They had a beach, they had boats and kayaks for rental, they had fishing.
They had a ferry that took you across the lake that's been like running for like...
That was a different campground. Different campground.
No, that was the one in Scranton.
No, it wasn't. It was the one in Hershey.
Oh, that was the one in Hershey. Never mind, guys. Don't ignore
Called
me.
the ferry boat campsites. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Listen, I remembered the name, though.
You did. But Keene Lake was really, really cool. It's actually a really great place to go, especially for summer camping. And we had a blast while we were there. But, of course, we're kind of The Office fans. So we had to go stop at some of The Office
locations,
hot spots around town. Yeah.
We We ate at one of the bars that they show in the show. We did not go to the Applebee's because it is shut down.
Yes, it is.
What else did we do?
The Houdini Museum. That was interesting. And then we went to Maine. Oh, Maine during the summer is just beautiful.
It warms my cockles to think of the fresh lobster in Maine.
Okay, so we were right outside of Bangor, and in Bangor, there is a place called Eagle's Nest Restaurant. They boast that they have the best lobster rolls.
They do.
And they do.
Yeah, no, they
do.
They 100% do.
They totally do. They were about 2 miles away from our campground, and we went there almost every other day that we were in town.
So there's a difference. You've got Maine lobster rolls and you've got Connecticut lobster rolls. Connecticut lobster rolls are warm with butter. Maine lobster rolls are cold with mayo. Both are amazing.
They do both.
They did both, but their Maine lobster roll,
oh, so good.
If you're going to Maine to have lobster, you need to have a Maine lobster roll.
Yes. And then one of the main things that we really wanted to do while we were in Maine, I know you see what I did there, is eat an actual lobster dinner. And we had an amazing lobster dinner at the Traveling Lobster in Bar Harbor. Bahaba.
Traveling lobster.
Traveling Lobster in Bahaba. Anyway, it was really amazing. It was really great. Yeah. The fisherman that runs it, it's kind of all outdoors. He gets up in the morning, he goes and fishes for lobster. I think he said he catches about
200 a day?
200 a day.
Something like that, yeah.
And then he cooks them up and sells them, and when they run out, they run out. So you got to get there early.
Okay.
But we did end up, by that point, Ryan's back was in pretty bad shape. Wasn't feeling super hot, but we did manage on one of the days that he was feeling good to go to Acadia National Park, and I can say it was worth the trip.
It was 100% worth it. I mean, unfortunately, like, Maine is on our list of we have to go back to because
100%.
We had so much fun, and we feel like we just kind of, like, scratched the surface of everything Maine has to offer. Has to lobster?
Has to lobster? Well, you were thinking about lobster word.
Yeah,
you were thinking about that lobster
offer.
dinner. Yeah.
And what I will say is, oh my gosh, it was so good. Everything about it. The lobster was great. The scenery was great. That state is huge. There is so much to do. Like, I was going to the doctor at that point, and the doctor's like sitting there during our visit telling us things that we need to go do and try while we're there. Like, they knew we're in an RV and all that stuff. Like, so I'm getting there trying to take care of my back, and they're like, you need to go do this. You need to go do this. You need to go do this. I'm like, dude, I can't walk that much.
And of course, on our way back, we had to stop by the Hershey RV show, so we kind of did a double stop in Pennsylvania this year and went to Hershey, which was super awesome. And while we were there, of course, when in Rome, when in Hershey, you go to the Hershey World Chocolate or World Hershey Chocolate.
That thing.
You go to that thing and you make your own candy bar, and man, it was so good. It was so tasty.
And you stay at the ferry boat campground because then you can ride a ferry boat.
Mm-hmm. See, that was the ferry boat that you were talking about earlier.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, we did get there.
And with Pennsylvania, I wasn't wrong about that.
That is very true.
We have now been to 3 different places in Pennsylvania.
We have.
Scranton, Hershey, and Philly.
Yes, we have.
Tell us what else we're missing.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Have we missed a place to go in your state? Because if we have, now we got to add it to the list, but you got to tell us in the comments.
So literally, that was our whole year for 2024, and I get it. It's kind of crazy to think about the fact that we had all this much fun, all these crazy things, and all on only one coast. But this is the fun of full-time RVing, that even with an injured back, you can do so many cool things and enjoy yourself and just explore the world.
Exactly. And I don't even feel like we scratched the surface of all of the places that we could have gone to on the East Coast. There's still so many cool places to go in the Carolinas, West Virginia, Georgia. So we definitely have those on the bucket list as well. But if we missed one and you know of a place along the East Coast that we should have gone to or that we should go to in the future, put it in the comments below. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Let's do it again next week, and happy camping.
Bye!
Bye! Pre-game warm-up. See, I need the pre-game warm-up.
What's the thing you're supposed to say? Like, chili peppers on a chili something? But there's a whole thing you're supposed to, like, say repeatedly over and over again to, like, warm up your vocals.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chili peppers on a... Come on, you...
I do not know.
You don't know what I'm talking
I seriously don't know what you're talking
Are you
about.
sure?
I am sure.
I feel like you're.
I did have the look of like I'm totally like messing with you, and I actually really don't know what you're talking about.
Wait. What is it?
I don't know.
It's like chili peppers on a chili log or something like that.
Peppers on a chili log.
How is this?
Why would you say a tongue twister to get your vocal cords warmed up? That doesn't even make any
maybe it
sense.
doesn't warm up your vocal cords. It warms up your lips or something. I don't know what it warms up. Listen, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you?
No, not a clue.
Okay, that's what I thought.